Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Zachary Gutherman, and in this video, I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes of the little teaser trailer you just saw. That was a little teaser for an upcoming film my friends and I are going to be working on titled Green, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I shot it, how I edited it. So without further ado, let's begin. Alright, so let's begin our little behind the scenes look. So this was a teaser, like I mentioned, for a film called Green, which we're going to be shooting in the fall of this year. Green tells the story of Josh, a high school freshman who decides to try out for his school's hockey team to impress his crush. There's one issue though, he can't ice skate. So that's just a general synopsis of the film, and you know, it's the summer, I wanted to still do something creative, so I decided to make a little montage B-roll style video, kind of like what Daniel Schiffer does, of a hockey puck, just to build a little hype around it, you know, just for myself. Let's go through the actual trailer. So we're gonna dive into Final Cut, my go-to editing software here, and we're just gonna look at more or less how this was done so you can kind of see the general timeline. And the first thing that's probably jumping out at you is a bunch of sound design. Some of the stuff is color. I mean, I obviously color all the sound I do, but this orange stuff is just in there, stuff for me to highlight in the tutorial, so don't go thinking like, oh my God, why are some sound effects orange? It's not that big a deal. The wind is ambience though, so obviously I have that a different color, so it's out of the way. And let's go. So I'm gonna start by going through picture and then we'll kind of talk about sound. So the first shot was super simple. All I wanted to do was just reveal the puck using a light. So I took my Litra torch and I kind of just put a green filter on it and just, you know, waved it back and forth a couple times, and it looks pretty cool. I added a little Ken Burns to it in post, you know, just like this, so when we go through you can actually see the light come on, which is pretty cool. And then the next shot where the actual like rink lights go on, that was kind of the idea of it. All I did is I just upped the intensity of those lights and I just matched the puck, you know, using the transform tools in Final Cut to make it match. And the cool thing is the Ken Burns actually hides that cut. You know, it almost makes it sound, you know, with the sound design, you know, it sounds like that light's being turned on. So by having the Ken Burns here, it just really sells that this is all one shot. You can see the puck move ever so slightly, but I'm not too concerned about that. And simply how that's accomplished, it's just a compound clip, so you can see the two clips right here, just, you know, hard cut, and you can see it is actually a little off, so I did have to transform it, which, you know, makes perfect sense. Fixed that, cropped in a bit, and had our Ken Burns, and honestly looks pretty good. So happy with that one. The next shot, super simple. I just have my hand come into the puck and grab it, and that is all still part of that same compound clip in there. And the shot after that is pretty cool. I like this one a lot. We have the puck getting thrown up and the camera catches focus right at the top, which is super cool. Now this is speed ramped obviously, so if we hit Command R, we can actually see how that works. Is 40% speed. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that this whole film, or I guess this whole video, I'm not gonna call it a film, this whole teaser video, this whole teaser video was shot in 720p because I shoot on the Canon T6, or 1300D as I like to call it, and that camera doesn't have 60 frames per second in full HD. So I actually shot the whole thing in 720p so I could speed ramp it and so I could really, you know, make it a little more special. So yeah, this is 720p, and I'm just gonna be honest, it doesn't look that bad, and you honestly don't notice it because of the sound design. You know, your ears are actually getting more of the quality in this one, and that makes up for it. Sound is like 60% of a video is sound. So the sound's really good in this one, which helps hide the fact that it's 720p. And then obviously just, you know, I know how to light and color a shot. And I do have some pretty nice glass on this, you know, I'm not using like the kit lens or anything. So, you know, we make it work, but you can see the shot, super simple, just the puck flying up. And the way I accomplished this is I just put a piece of tape on the tripod, which was where the focus was set. And then I just throw it up for a ton of takes until I found one that worked. Definitely did a lot of these takes. Next shot, super simple, just the puck falling. Again, it's in the slow motion there, so it's 40% speed, which is utilizing all 60 frames. That just falls, and then we get to the big shot here, which is the puck falling down, spinning, and then you can hear the player skate up and hit the puck into the lens of the camera. So this shot was actually super, I don't want to say difficult because it was actually fairly easy, but it kind of involves a lot of steps. So I'm actually going to show you the way I shot it first, then I'll show you how I edited it. Alright, so I just wrapped up shooting the final scene of this little teaser, so let's check out how it's done, because this is actually one of the more complicated scenes. So the shot is basically the puck lands on, I guess, the ice or whatever, and then the camera's going to come around, and once it gets over to here, the puck gets hit with a hockey stick and comes and covers the lens as the transition. So there's 3 phases to what we do here. So the first thing I did is I've just got the camera, we're not even on the tripod, we're just going to slide it for the motion, but because of speed ramping, that should be fine. First thing I do is drop the puck and have it spin, and as it's spinning, we bring the camera around like this. So now the next thing, since we're going to do compositing, the shot's going to be a composite shot, is I took the pencil here and I just traced around the hockey puck. And obviously this isn't as good because I'm doing it with my left hand as I'm holding a camera, but you trace around the hockey puck just like this while the camera's still rolling. This way we're going to know the location of the puck for the next shot, where we grab our hockey stick. And this one, real simply, all I'm doing here is I'm just coming here and I'm just making like a swinging motion towards the lens, just like that. And really all that's doing is it's just getting the motion so it looks like the stick's hitting the puck. And then the final shot is gonna come over here. I've got a duplicate hockey puck here, and this is just taped onto the back of a ruler. So kind of sturdy, I guess. And I'm just gonna line it up with the markings we made down here. We can get rid of this guy. And then for this one, all I'm doing is I'm just coming back here. You can kind of see it through the camera. And I'm just coming up like this and covering the lens with the puck. So again, it's really just this, and since I'm starting at the same spot, when I composite this, I am gonna have to rotoscope it. But when I rotoscope it, it should be at the same focal length, same distance. And then we come up here, and that is the shot. So yeah, a lot of layers to that shot. So I wanna show you guys how I edited it now. And again, it's all done essentially just using compound clips. So if we double click on here, we can go in and see our actual compound clip. Now this is just made up of 2 more compound clips. We've got actually our shot and then this last compound clip here. So going in the first compound clip here, we've got the shot of the puck being hit just like that. So I have the puck being hit, and then I lined it up with the shot with the ruler. And you can see it's just rotoscoped. All this is just rotoscoping the puck. And if you don't know what rotoscoping is, it's exactly what it looks like here. I masked out the hockey puck frame by frame as it moves up. Now luckily it's a short shot. You know, I could have really screwed myself over and tried to make this like a 30-second montage or whatever. It's a short shot. It still is a good amount of frames though. But yeah, you can kind of just see it every frame there. It's just going frame by frame. That's the way it's done. Now the mask isn't perfect, and there's a couple ways to make the mask look nicer. If we go in here and just zoom in, you can actually see, obviously it's a round thing, and the way you mask, it's kind of hard. But you can see the way I did this, if you right click on each point, you can actually choose linear or smooth. So there's a bunch of points where I have it smooth, and that just smooths out the mask and kind of helps create that roundness. But obviously if we come back and look at this, still not perfect. You know, you can still see, you know, it's not great. There's still some points where you can see, okay, he very clearly cut around the hockey puck. So the way I hid that is actually, if we come back here to our main project, I hid it using motion blur. So I just threw an adjustment layer with some motion blur on here, and by doing this, it just creates that motion blur on the whole clip, which does 2 things. First off, it looks cool because you can see more movement in the stick and the puck, but also just hides those edges a bit, so you can kind of see now the motion blur is kind of just blurring the edges of that puck, which makes it, you know, a little harder to see this masked, which I think adds a lot to it. The motion blur is just a pack I downloaded from online. I'm sure you could find it, you know, but yeah, that's the way I did that. And then it just comes up, and then we have the text fly in. So that is, you know, the main rotoscoping. And it honestly turned out really good. I'm actually really happy with how this turns out if you just want to watch it real quick. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. The only issue with it is that the puck should be spinning, you know, and I realized this after the fact. I don't think there's anything I could have really done, at least easily, to have gotten this, but the puck should be spinning because if, you know, if you hit something, it's gonna spin. But I'm happy with how this turned out. And then the rest of the shot, you know, I just, you know, have a cut in here at the last point of the puck spinning, and then the first point of the shadow of the stick coming in for that. And again, it's all a compound clip, just like so, pretty simple. So the main bulk of this actually came in the sound design. You know, I just wanna actually just take a moment. We're gonna watch the film first without any sound, and then we're gonna listen to just the sound. And you're gonna see just how much the sound does for this. So here it is without any sound at all. And now we're going to listen to just the sound design. And you'll notice that hearing just the sound design, you're actually going to be able to visualize what's going on here to an extent. So let's listen. Yeah, so sound definitely makes a huge impact here. This is all just royalty-free sounds. I mean, nothing too crazy. So let's kind of look through it. The beginning here, I just wanted to create the sound of the arena. So we have sound of ice skates. We got, metal being hit, which is supposed to represent the goal. You can hear pucks being hit. All that stuff's fairly straightforward. There's a couple that I think were panned, if I remember correctly. So I believe this guy, or not this one actually, but some of them, I believe, you can hear like the panning of it in there. But yeah, it's all pretty straightforward here. We have this stuff turned on. The main interesting sound actually comes here for the puck rolling. So this is what I want to look at first. So the sound I used here, when the puck lands, you have the sound of the impact, which you can listen to. And you can hear a little bit of a ping in your right ear. And I just used the sound effect of a coin dropping. That's just the effect I chose to use here. And I don't know, I just thought it worked. Actually, it's a pin dropping. But I don't know, I just thought it worked for some reason, so I threw it in there. Kind of just an extra thing to add to your ears. As it's falling too, there's a bunch of whoosh sound effects, which definitely help, and that's 100% the Daniel Schiffer inspiration coming into this. And then for the puck actually landing, because this is such a weird sound, and I didn't record any sound during the actual shoot, so I just have the sound of dice. Just dice shaking and rolling, and I just have this layered a bunch of times. You can kind of see it here, just how much this is layered here. But what I did, if we actually look at our retime editor here for these, and we're just doing this by hitting Command R, you can see that some of the shots are moving forwards, as you can see 100%, and some of them are actually moving backwards, like you can see here at the negative 100%. And that just creates a little more depth to the sound, because obviously the last thing you want is you don't want to hear, just bing, 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 bing. You can tell the sound's being looped. So that just added a lot to it. I also have it overlapping at some points. And then when we get over here, as it gets, faster, you can actually see that we sped up the sound. So we actually have the sound sped up here. And again, I believe it's going forward to negative, if I remember correctly. At least in some of these spaces, you can kind of see that. And yeah, that really just creates the depth to that sound, which is so important. And then of course, the last thing is we come over here and we have the sound of the player skating in and hitting the puck. All right, so let's take a look at what this sound design is really made up of. So first you can hear the player skating over, and this is the one I was talking about earlier where it's panned. So if you see here stereo left, right, you can see the skate coming around here, just like so. So it kind of starts like the skate's coming from a distance this way, and then he's skating over towards you. Then over here, we can hear sliding on snow. This is supposed to be like skidding the skates. That's kind of the idea here. And then we have the sound of the puck hitting and the puck coming towards us. Now this sound down here is actually really interesting. This is the whoosh. And I wanted to really create that feeling of the puck flying towards us. So the way we did that, first off, you can see I used R, which is my favorite key in Final Cut, just to make it get louder as it's coming to us. But not only is it getting louder, it's actually physically coming to us. So if you look at the surround pan on this one, basically it's starting back here. You can see the audio starts all the way in the back, and as we play it, the audio is panned forward. And this is just such a subliminal thing that you're hearing. You physically don't hear this when you're listening to it, but subconsciously you know it's there, and it helps create the feeling of the puck coming towards you. Instead of just hearing it in both ears, you're hearing it in the back of your ears coming forwards. Just little details like that really help build a strong sound design for this. And then the last thing, of course, when the puck actually hits, I added a cinematic bass to it just to have something really dramatic in there. I have the sound of the puck hitting. I also have a sound of glass, which is supposed to be the lens. Obviously, we didn't actually hit the lens. And then for the actual title here, what we did is we have just a campfire playing over it. I just thought it works. I really like using the campfire sound with glitches. For some reason, that just works really nice for me. I don't know. And then I have an air horn just kind of to close it. And then the text coming this winter. So that is the main design of this. You know, you can kind of see I have wind just down there to make it a little cold. That's just ambience. But yeah, that's the main sound design. Coming up top here, all I really have here is just color grading stuff with these base corrections. I'm not going to go deep into color in this video because that's not really what the point is. The point was to show you how we made the montage. So now at this point we have our montage. We're ready to upload to YouTube. And I think the one thing that's really missing here is this doesn't have like a beautiful shot. It doesn't have that like money shot that you want to use for a YouTube thumbnail. So I decided to go sourcing for some stock footage for the thumbnail, you know, just really get a couple extra clicks, really just build up the momentum for that. And for that, obviously I'm not in a hockey rink right now, so I did need to use stock footage, which is why this video is sponsored by, oh wait, this video is not sponsored. We're a channel with 80 subscribers. We're not even like getting paid. We don't get sponsorships. I can't even afford Storyblocks. What are we doing here? That's why we got the stock photo for the thumbnail from Pexels. Now I am with no ways associated with Pexels. They're not sponsoring this. I'm not endorsed by them. I just physically like them a lot. It's a free stock website. So I just went on to Pexels and searched up hockey rink, and I found a really cool shot of the goal. And I do want to show you guys how I made the thumbnail because it's actually cooler than it looks here. So this is our timeline here for the thumbnail. So I want to start by showing you just the image. So this right here is the picture we had to work with, which honestly looks really shitty. You know, it's just not that nice. You know, it's just a boring picture, nothing interesting going on with the lighting. So let me show you what we did here. So the first thing I did was I created some depth to this. So I added a shape mask to this, and I've just masked around the goalpost. And then, so everything that's not in the mask, so if we just want to look at the mask right now, if we go into here and we view our mask, I'm just gonna V that. If we view our mask, this is our mask. So you can see we're just masking around the goal here. And then everything outside the goal, I just layered this clip, so option dragged it. And then I put a Gaussian blur on the bottom one. This creates a little depth of field, you know, that little bokeh, which makes it feel like you're shooting on an actual nice lens here. The next thing we had to do was color. This is already color corrected, so I just did a simple base correction, fixing the exposure, the saturation, and the temperature. Here is our grade. So let's take a look at it. So you can see it makes it a lot more dramatic. And I just did a simple orange teal here because I'm a YouTube filmmaker. Of course I'm gonna use orange teal. And no, because it's pretty, it looks nice. So what I did here, if we actually wanna dive in here, and I am gonna open up my color grading workspace here just so it's a little easier to see. I don't know how much the scopes are gonna actually help us here, but if we want them, they're there. So if we look at our adjustment layer, I have a bunch of color wheels on here. So the first color wheel, what this one is, if we take a look, this is just our grade. So I have a mask on here where you can see I actually masked out, if this is gonna work, there we go. You can see we actually masked out the red on the goalpost. So that's the only thing getting our orange here. So if you go in here, you can just turn that mask off. You'll see inside the mask, I just pushed some orange into the shot, which, you know, is the orange, and then outside is the teal. So we just pushed some teal in our global settings here. I believe I didn't add contrast to this. Interesting. I don't know why I didn't do that. Oh well. The next color wheels on here, this layer is just lighting. So I'm gonna actually turn this layer off real quick so you can see what that did. So I basically reshaped the lighting here, and this is a tip I learned from Color Grading Central that seriously saves images. Is if you want to relight a shot, you do it in color grading. This is just a general tip for color grading. So you want to relight your scene, and I want to really make the goal stand out here, because right now, you know, it makes you wonder what's the subject of this shot. You know, you're just looking dead on. So what I did is I changed the lighting to really create a spotlight effect, and this is just done with a simple shape mask. Here you can kind of see the mask there. It's just a shape, and I just have it coming in directional as if there's a spotlight on there. And then all I did is outside the mask, I just lowered the exposure. That's all I did there. It is kind of interesting. You can like kind of tell that there's a mask if you're looking for it, but if you look at this just not knowing there's a mask, you can get away with it. And again, this is taking a stock image and making it look, dare I say, cinematic. And then our last color wheel is basically doing the same thing, because if you look here actually, what bothered me here is this top part. I'm actually gonna turn off color wheels first. What bothers me is this top part. It's just a little too bright for my liking. I wanna make it less obvious that I just masked it. So again, this is just another mask up top there, and it just takes out our exposure so you can see what's exactly masked out just over the glass, and that helps a ton, and that creates our image. And then I just threw on our text here, which is the font that we're using for the film, which is actually the official NHL font, which is kind of cool. I downloaded it from DaFonts there, and that is our thumbnail. And I think that is really nice looking. You know, you want, especially something like this where you're building like a teaser, you want to get people, you know, at least excited. Maybe they're not going to even look at the video, they're just going to see the thumbnail. You want a good thumbnail, and this really, it just did the job. So yeah, that is the main look at how we created this teaser. But yeah, that is the thing. I hope you guys found this interesting or informative. You know, I'm really excited about this film, but more specifically just excited about this project in general. You know, this physical project, this is the second time I'm recording a behind the scenes on it because I wasn't happy with the first one. But yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting to show you guys, you know, a simple little thing, kind of like product video for the hockey puck, but I think it turned out pretty cool. I think it looked all right, and I'm happy with it. You know, the shot at the end used some pretty, you know, intricate editing, so I'm pretty happy with that. Sound design, I'm super thrilled with. Yeah, overall, pretty good project, pretty happy with it. If there's anything I didn't mention in here, I think I covered everything, but if there's anything else you guys want to know, definitely let me know in the comments. I'll be posting updates on this film at points as we go. If you want to see those updates, definitely follow me on Instagram at ZG Films. That's going to be the place where, you know, most of the behind the scenes stuff comes in. Obviously, in the filmmaking world, once you finish a project, you know, this is being shot in October or November, probably won't be done edited till like December-ish, maybe January, and then it's going to enter the film festival cycle. So you're not going to be seeing this film, the finished film, for 2-3 years after it's released. And that's the way all the projects are. You know, I've been working on a ton of stuff, but you just don't see them right away because of festivals. So when I have time to make little projects like this, I definitely do want to share them, just stuff for fun. And I hope the behind the scenes was interesting. So I'm going to stop rambling. That is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you all again in the next video.